is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Market is gapping up. So I think I might just record myself, just say market's gapping up, and then just replay that every morning. I think that would be a lot easier. I think that would be how to work smarter, not harder. Maybe. But small little gap up in the overall market. And we'll take a deeper dive into it. But we got Albert in the house. Good morning to Alex, Amy. We got Andy. Good morning. We got Bill, Brian, Christopher. Good morning. GW, Hector, Jay, Joe, JT. Hope all is well. We got Kevin Stone in the house. Good morning to Lucian, Mr. LW himself, Martina. Lucian, I don't think I've seen you in a minute, Lucian. You on vacation or something? We got Rick. Good morning. Stephanie. Good morning. We got Win. Good morning, all my peeps in YouTube land. We got Daniel Ratto, Jerome. I think I'm gonna butcher this name. But Zara Denise? Is that? Am I ballparking? I'm expecting already that I'm incorrect. There's no way I'm correct. But I just want to be in the ballpark. I want to be on the same field. That's it. Let me know how well I did with that one. But we got the SPY, so we do have a little bit of a slight gap up. Again, let's take a look at some volume areas. We have a little bit of resistance, 454.96. That's very small. If that breaks, the next target probably 456.17. And then a much bigger one is going to be in this 457.60 zone. So that would be our, if we do continue higher type momentum. Today, after market should get fun. We start to get some of the big dogs, some of the earnings coming in. Netflix is the first one on the list. And they should be fairly interesting based off of this is the quarter that they really started to enforce no password sharing. And we'll see if revenue wants to push up higher on that. I don't think they're going to cover how many new subscribers, although this would be the time to do it. But they've said before, we're not covering new subscribers anymore because we're just more focused on profitability than how many people are actually signing up to the platform. So I don't know if we'll hear that number, but it would be an interesting time for them to divulge some of that information just to see if that at all is helping, which I imagine it would be. I think early reports say that it should. But again, we'll see. I'm looking for some VPOCs to make a bear case here. Really strong close yesterday. This whole week has been very difficult in the morning for just a lot of sideways trades. There's just some individual stocks that are kind of moving out of the gate and they stop moving. But it's a slow melt up for pretty much all of this week. I think we had one down day, which was Monday, and that was barely. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but that was a good, strong little close. We are above the VPOC from yesterday, so if we get any type of pullback, the first spot we got to look at is 454.20. If that starts to break, then we have some decent room to the downside to recover, maybe some profit taking. 451, we're extremely extended from some of these moving averages. But there is some more room to the upside on somehow. Let me just go back to the SPY real quick. I just can't believe the number. Hold on. Yeah, 454. I mean, 460 would be a nice round whole number. What do we need to get to? We still have, 460 would be the next obvious target. And then we still have probably up until like 468. And if we have one more crazy day, 475, something like that. So there's definitely a lot more room still to the upside. I would expect somewhere around this before 460, we get some kind of more I think something. I don't know. But we'll see. 460 would definitely be the target. I'm looking at some volume areas around 458. So we'll see what happens there. Let's take a look at the Qs. Zaradiance. Oh, that's how you say it. Yeah, I was not in the ballpark on that one. All right, DJ, better luck tomorrow. We'll give it another go. Zaradiance. All right, Uh 386.60. So we have a little bit of a gap up on the Qs. Let's see if we have any. 389.46 would be the spot where I mean I'm I want to say that the Bears would want to kind of save it, but they have failed to save it everywhere else. But that would be the next spot. So 49. So we definitely have some more room to the higher side on Qs as well. I don't know when we start getting pulled back. The crazy thing is the top 7, the big 7 that has been running for the better half of the year, they're still running. They're just kind of moving a little differently than they were before, but they kind of spread like COVID in the market, and everything else is kind of picking up off of it now too. So that's kind of our next level. Is all the smaller guys are continuing to move up. Goldman Sachs, we could watch that one for today. They did miss earnings, but if you look at the after hours, I was like, wow, they missed. It wasn't a great report whatsoever, and then they started to actually, after that initial drop, squeeze up higher. I was like, really? We're just gonna buy everything, no matter what. Doesn't matter. But since then they have kind of come down a little bit. So we are gapping down on Goldman. That might put some pressure to maybe JP Morgan, maybe Schwab, maybe some of those guys today as well. And financials could be sitting a little bit weaker on the day. Tech still looks really strong. And again, we'll see how tech holds up today after hours. And then see if that's going to actually add any pressure to the markets, or we just look at it as buy the dip opportunity. But let me just check out Goldman on the daily. Coming into a little bit of maybe support at 330.97. So we'll have to check that. Right now we are about 50% of yesterday's candle, so that would be a retrace. I think if we could get down to that 330.79, 78 zone, that's roughly about the 618. So that's where I would look for a bounce. Doesn't have to hold there. So it wouldn't be a blind order for me. And we potentially have the bigger, higher volume 327.27. So that would be a much better retracement, probably over the next couple days, though. I don't know if it gets down there today, but we'll see. Let's see. Yep. So we got AT&T is gapping up. Man, AT&T, their team came out swinging yesterday to defend. Some of their PR team is on point for yesterday. So the early reports was that Wall Street Journal came out and said that the wires, and I guess for Verizon as well, because I saw Verizon was getting killed, but AT&T was definitely one of them, where their wires had all lead in it and could make people sick and die and not good things. But AT&T came out and said, nah, don't worry, it's only about 10%. So sorry for 10%. The rest of the 90% of the people, though, that don't live near the lead wires, who makes that purchase decision too, I don't know. Give me about 90% no lead and 10. Yeah, give me some 10% lead. So we'll see about 10%. So they did come back. They negated the Wall Street Journal. Honestly, the Wall Street Journal kind of looked like it was just more of a hit piece to get some clicks than anything else. But we'll see. But beautiful gap up there. Again, if we do for the long term, T dividend. At 13.45, it's 8.25. So you can still sit probably around 8% if you are buying it. I think this dividend gets cut eventually again. They did cut it once. I would almost suspect it gets cut again. Again, it's not horrible. As long as they're going to take that money. And the bigger problem with AT&T is that they have, I think Verizon too, but AT&T has like 300 billion of debt. So they have a huge line of debt that they got to battle through. But that is a really good gap on T. I don't know about day trading T. Maybe because it's got, usually I would say no, but it is in the headlines. And I would only say no just because it doesn't really move that much. But today could be a little different. So we'll watch it. That is a really, really good gap and go again. It looks like the last 2 days were capitulation with the volume that came in. This might be a time to spot. Do I want to pick up shares here? I have to be concerned about that debt. I think they could come lower, but dollar cost average is not bad on this. Even if it comes lower, I'd be buying it down to $7. And then I got to assume that dividend cannot be safe. Wall Street Journal is toilet paper for hillbillies. Okay. All right, that's very specific. I'll add it 12 and 10. Yeah, I'm going to throw an order. Let's pick up some of this in the long term. I'll just buy it at open. T. All right. I probably should have did it yesterday, but I got the order set up. It's not a trade, so we're not going to have stops or anything like that. Sell some covered calls. Did you tell me? I forget. But I got the order out there, so at market I will own some TTD short. TTD. Again, maybe a little financial pressure from Goldman coming out. That does look decent short. We can still hold up in this level, but we are definitely below all those VPOCs. What I would think is probably not short at open. This is an area that might want to hold. Targets on this would be about 84.48. So you get about $2 and, well, right now about $3 on this trade, just slightly under $3. What I would like to find is that little pen thing, but that's on a different screen. Oh, I can move it. There we go. Now it's set up. This is technically a retest gap. We are still inside day. So let's see if we get bought up into this range right up in here. That would be a better spot to short if anything in this market ever wants to be shorted. Which that I would say there's no guarantees on, but 88.69, somewhere in that zone, 88.50 start to look. But if we could get a retest of that VPOC, that would be the better spot to short. You could probably throw some stops at 91.50, maybe even come down a slight tad more, depending if it's a day trade or swing. And then you're kind of cruising that down to that 84.39 level. That's where it's going to be met with the daily 10. And we'll have to see where it goes from there. But could be an interesting short. But I do want some kind of green candle out of that one first. And then whether I take the breakdown or we're just trying to set some kind of order at that 86.60 zone would be interesting. Alex says AMD. Yep, AMD's moving. I think, again, we tried to trade this one yesterday. Now would be well above our 2-hour target if we just held it overnight. We picked a very fantastic location to get in. We did lose on this trade because we moved our stops up. And right before Microsoft news came out, it was fading down a little bit. But we picked a good entry. So I can't be mad. Just the trade didn't work out. Had we held it overnight, clearly we'd be at 3 hours at this point. And yeah, my thought process was that I think AMD wants to start to get back to that 127, 128 zone. I think there's a decent double bottom S curve. Again, good location. If I was playing it a little bit differently as a swing as opposed to a day trade, we would be sitting pretty at this point. A little bit of resistance. And again, this is also a retest gap. So watch this. I would even say probably watch if we could get up there, 120, 124 zone. We did get up there previously, and I think it was like right at 122. So yeah, right at 122, 122.11. That's where we got shot back down on this one big move with good volume. If this candle breaks on AMD, I think that's going to help push us into easily to the 127.50, if not back to 129.22. And AMD has just been I don't want to say absolutely lagging behind Nvidia because it has had a nice run. We've gone from essentially $70, maybe even $57 all the way up to 130. This is a little pullback. I think AMD can continue. So definitely bullish on it. I mean, it hasn't had the insane non-stop run. We are getting some pullbacks in AMD. So we'll have to see what happens, but I think there's a little resistance. Would like to see some kind of red candle at open, and I'd be willing to try. The 122 is going to be something that I have to pay attention to. Carvana is another one that is gapping up on earnings. They put out a share offering for about 35 million more outstanding shares. They do have some promises to pay down some debt. I'm going to watch this one extremely closely. I don't know if Ron's in the house today. Where's Ron? Talk about he's my short squeeze guy. I don't know if he's even here today. Oh, Ron is here. I almost had to close the room down. That was it. That was going to be it for me. And then I was just at least walk away in dead silence till Johnny comes on later. But Ron's here, so we don't have to worry. But yeah, there's not a lot of anything holding Carvana back at this point. So pretty big, massive gap up. We do have to be cautious of that. There may be some profit taking. But at this point, I mean, there's no real liquidity. That almost kind of reminds me of Wayfair. And Wayfair has actually put in some volume down here as well, but Wayfair is the same thing. So Wayfair could be a decent one. We might see some of those short squeezes continue today, but there is not a lot of volume on Wayfair. And probably you could see, oh man, SPY just jumped again, 454.87. That's crazy. I'm watching that on my other screen. Wow. But yeah, next spot probably on Wayfair takes us to about 108 with, I mean, hardly anything to hold us back. And as another good gap, let me put this one up on the list as well. So I almost want to kind of focus on some of these names that have not fully run yet, but are on the brink of doing so. STZ. It's another one, yeah. So the problem with this one, Constellation Brands, I don't know where to put targets. We're essentially hitting 52-week highs. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of run up. Oh no, sorry, that's 5 months of run up. Hey, hold on. Let's see. I don't know if that's worse or better. I don't know anymore. All right, so we really only had 2 days. We did sell off a little bit. Some selling pressure came in yesterday, and taking a break into new highs, 0 levels to go off of. Let's add it to the list. Buy high, sell higher would be probably the essential play on this one. Let's get STZ up here. What do I get? 11 minutes left. We got Fastly in YouTube land, FSLY. I believe this is another one that could be decent. This one still has a little bit of maybe bears want to stop this thing at 2008. Once we start breaking that, there's nothing really until 25, 26, and even probably up to 27. So you've still got a lot of room, and that's a small compared to everything else. Liquidity wise, that's a small area, but somewhere in this 27.87 would be my target. If it could break that, should be a straight shot to 33.69. So again, looks decent on Fastly. Good strong candle yesterday. So I wouldn't also be, especially in the zone, I don't think I'd be the first one to buy it. See if it pulls back a little bit, and that could be your buy opportunity on Fastly. So we'll keep an eye on to that one. Am I fading Carvana? If you mean fading is to go short, then no. I'm not touching this one short. It's another high short float. I understand the desire to want to short this thing, but it's a big short float on this. You're getting a good gap up. Everybody who's maybe hanging in there should be trapped, and I'm only looking to go long on Carvana. I don't care if I missed the short side, but I think that short side is Gonna be tough, I think. IBKR. Interactive Brokers. Again, here's another one sitting in the financial sector that is struggling a little bit today. Did they have earnings? So they did. They missed 7 cents, essentially 5.54%. Surprise miss on earnings per share, and then they missed by $55 million. $55 gazillion. But that's a decent short. Not a lot really holding this thing up into. I kind of like this one as my short opportunity if there is ever one. Goldman 2, so maybe Goldman Sachs, and then this one could be shortable. I'm terrified about every short possible. I think you guys know that by now. I'm absolutely terrified. If this market has been an absolute just buy the dip on everything, this one does have some room to the downside. Goldman, if it gives me that one little pop higher, which it looks like it kind of is now already, that would probably give me a little bit more room on it, and maybe that would be worth the short. But I think in this market, with the mentality of just buy things, shorting is tough. Fastly's back. Yeah, what was the one we were looking at? Oh, T-Doc we were looking at yesterday. T-Doc. Tesla for Hector. Their earnings come out, is it tonight as well? Yeah. So you have Tesla earnings tonight. I don't think I would hold Tesla overnight. I think they're going to start hyping that Cybertruck up a lot in today's conference call, at least. So every earnings, you have two moves. You have the actual earnings and then what they tell you on the conference calls. So I think we have already had numbers from Tesla as far as deliveries were good. That already came out. So I would expect decent earnings on Tesla. But I don't know if the earnings and the actual how the company's financial sits matches where the price is. And I think that's on a lot of things too. Netflix as well. I mean, you're at 50 times earnings at this point on Netflix. So you're starting to get up there on a lot of these things. Doesn't mean that Tesla can't grow to valuation. Doesn't mean that Netflix can't grow. No, absolutely. But do I really want to pay 50 times earnings on a company in a long term? So a lot of these companies are going to lose me on some of those purchases. We'll have to see. But yeah, Tesla into that resistance zone. We did have a good run. 300 is a psychological hold number. And then also we got the earnings coming out tonight. So I don't know. I don't know how hype people are going to be or maybe try to lock some profit. Richard, I don't know if you're still here, Richard, because your name's Gray, but you said Celsius. Give me the Celsius ticker again. I think it's, I forget what it is, to be honest. Let's see. Lurkian says, good morning, CVS. Yeah, there it is. CELH. Good morning, CVS put in a weekly double bottom and possibly forming inverted head and shoulders. I do like CVS a lot. So this is a company that, and I was going to do a thing on the long term on Monday. Then I was not feeling very good at all. So I had Yates cover. But this is one that I'm looking at for sure to get into. I think valuation on this is actually very, very good. I think if you're getting in at $73, they purchased the healthcare company, what is it, Aetna, a few years back. And so at this price, you're basically paying for CVS and getting Aetna for free, the way that this thing's come down. But you do have a great double bottom here. Nice little breakout. So on a day trade basis, again, maybe moves a little slower. Could be fun to maybe trade. Again, this is a retest gap, so see if this one could pull back first. But for the long term, I like CVS a lot. So whether you're buying shares here or selling puts, I like it. Let's see, CVS, we got CELH. Celsius, yeah, they had a little bit of a down day breakdown yesterday. Still at some decent support. You're not really gapping anywhere. You're gapping down slightly, 30 cents, something like that. So nothing too crazy, but still holding this. Next target, I would assume would be 140.84. I think this is a company that is probably just absolutely overvalued at this point. Doesn't mean it can't go higher, but I don't. I mean, I think you're overpaying at this point. But that would be about 140.84 would be your target to the downside if you get some continuation. Further, we got crowd C, RWD. How about 20 calls on T for Marie? I think I got 3 minutes left. All right, we cover that. CrowdStrike, that's a cute little gap. Let's throw that one higher on the list. Target on it, at least first original target on it would be somewhere in the 155.82 zone. We've already kind of got up there. That's probably a little bit of a weaker target. And then target would actually become 159.95. So that does look like if we could hit that target, we should have some room. I don't know that I would do calls on AT&T because it has been downtrending for a while. So then you'd be taking a downtrend with some calls. You have to go leaps if you're doing it. But I don't love buying calls on downtrends. The other thing that you could do is sell puts. And then if you get filled on those puts, then you're going to start to sell calls just to try to get out at higher pricing and just make money that way, as opposed to throwing money to a depreciating asset on a company that's on a downtrend. Could be potentially some capitulation on T, but how long it takes to get back and how far it runs, I don't know. Marie says, I think Tesla's going up. Tesla valuation always were sky high. They were even at $100. I wanted it a little bit lower, $80, and yeah, so I missed it, and I'm okay with it. I miss a lot of things. I can't catch them all, but then I'll catch like the Netflix, and I'll catch a bunch of those plays that start to fit into my valuation categories. So Disney's one that I am buying around here as well. All right, I think we covered most of the lists. BTC, I think, was one of them. BTC, I think this morning was back above 30. BTC USD. And dropped back down. So 30 is going to be the key number. It's definitely going to be met with a lot of resistance, both for psychological reasons, and we do have a lot of volume areas here. If we start to break above, I would say the spot you really want to, so about 31K. If we get above 31K, that volume's now on our backside, and we should be able to, I think that's when you see the next leg up. That will take us to about 39K for Bitcoin. Otherwise, looking to probably hang out in this area for a little bit longer, and maybe even some pullbacks down into this 27.5. So 31K on Bitcoin is what we want to see break and hold. And that should give us our next little leg up in crypto space. Chuck says, I love my options. I love options too, you know? All right. Unfortunately, we only got 6 seconds left. Make sure you guys check out reallifetrading.com for all my peeps in YouTube land. Make sure you guys hit that little like button, subscribe, and we'll be back with you guys tomorrow. You guys are incredible. Thanks for joining me each and every day. Be safe out there in the market. Look for some of those short squeezes. I think those are the plays today, but be careful. We're high. We are high.